Hey guys, welcome to Veebadest Talks. Back with another Q&A. I'm so excited. I love these little Q&As because they're short clips, but I feel like they're so good. They're great to like listen to in the morning or before you go to bed. Like it's just so good. So, this Q&A is from, let me pull it up. Let me pull it up. Okay. So from underscore your destiny, how do you heal from a breakup? I don't I don't think I'm the man for the job. No. Okay. So this is my opinion, how I feel. This is where I'm coming from. And this is from my experience. So if you're in a similar experience as me, as becoming a single mom last year, having two babies, moving out of state, owning like the things like, it's different for everyone. The situation is different for everybody. So everyone will have their different opinions on it. So this is going to be mine on how to heal from a breakup. And I think it can relate to somebody that even doesn't have kids. But one thing I can say, healing from a breakup with children and healing from a breakup without children are two different types of breakups. I remember being younger, being in a long term relationship, coming out of it, no babies. It was so much easier, I guess, to keep busy, to have time to like go out, do whatever you want, and all these things. As a mother healing from a breakup, it might sound bad, but it's like just the truth. And I'm just going to keep it real. It's like a constant, when you're with your babies, it's a constant reminder of your failed relationship, of the things that didn't work out, of the vision that you had. Sorry, the vision that you had for yourself and your children and your family, and not having that and then you every day you got to wake up and you're like constantly reminded of that. So I feel like the process of overcoming that and having that realization is harder, especially when you come from a background where you grew up with both your parents. Now, it might be easier for someone that, grew up with divorced parents or their parents were never together. It's easier to think like this is a normal concept. For me, it was so hard to grasp that was no longer my reality, and it was just me and my babies. So healing in a relationship with kids is like there's parts to it. There's healing from the person you're with for so long and that bond that you guys created, which is what you go through when you don't have kids as well. Like that bond, that person, you like literally grieving a death. That's what it feels like. You literally feel like you're grieving a loss of a person. Um, and what tends to be, it's like a loss of their potential. Like you're grieving the potential you saw in that person. You're grieving that that person who you felt like he could have been or she could have been in the relationship, and now it's over. That's no longer. All these goals, dreams, aspirations, visions that you had for yourself are no longer there, and it's like literally a loss that you're taking. Then the next part is having babies, and like I said, that constant reminder of a failed relationship, that guilt that you feel as a mom that you're not able to give your kids like that picture perfect, as they would say, family, right? And one thing that I did learn on this healing journey is I don't care how good it looks on social media. I don't care how good it looks on paper, how good we look in a picture. If you are not happy within, if you are not happy with yourself, if you guys do not make each other happy or grow in any way, get out. Like get out. Like stop wasting any more time on that, and stop giving so much of your energy to that just because it looks good. Because if it doesn't feel good, the people that are going to be affected the most are those kids, because they go off of the energy and they can feel the energy and they could feel all of that. And then we're just here not giving, it's just not giving. And sometimes it's better for your kids to grow up in a single parent home than to grow up in a two parent home that's toxic. And that's just my opinion. I think it's so much more beneficial to my kids to grow up in a single mother home of a mother who is happy, excited, loving, caring, all of these things, than to grow up in a home where there's fighting. Yes, they have both their parents, but they're not happy. They're toxic. All of these things. Like I feel like it's honestly effed up to do, right? And I think it's taking the adult step and the adult initiative to be like, this isn't working out and we need to separate and go figure it out. So back to like the whole question of healing during a breakup, there, like I said, there's so many levels and parts and things. Recently I can say it's been over like a year, like exactly like a year, right? And I can honestly say not until the last couple months have I really can say like I'm actually healing, like I'm on my way. Because the first couple months is grieving, is like why, is like through your healing process, you go through moments where you feel like, oh, did I make the right decision? Or you feel like you're going backwards because you're thinking of like those good moments, because it always happens when you leave somebody, and you always tend to like dwell on the good times and you totally forget about like all the horrible times that were going on and why you're here in the first place. And you start to think like, oh, did I make the right decision? You start to go back, the conversations happen, and then it doesn't fall through. And then you realize like, no, this is the right path. This is the right. And it's a constant reminder of like telling yourself like, this is the right path. I have to move forward. I have to move forward. I have to move forward. Right. And then, like I said, just recently, like in these 3 months, I think I finally got to the point where I'm no longer grieving a loss. Now I'm just protecting my energy. I'm just focused more than ever. I'm in love with my space, which also was a whole nother in the healing journey you go on when you're like alone, like being alone. A lot of us have never been alone. And that is like, if you could take anything from this is learn to be alone, because you really don't know yourself until you're alone. You really don't know what you like until you're alone. You really don't know like certain things about yourself until you're in that space alone. And I remember I'm actually moved back, like, so we had a whole house and everything, and I actually ended up moving back to where I was from. And the things that I used to do to, you know, make myself like get my energy back up is like ride my bike, like ride bikes on the trails, like where I grew up in New York. And I would ride bikes on the trails by myself. And the first couple of times I rode my bike, I would stop and like call this person like, oh my God, like you should be here. Why aren't you here? Blah. And then once I got on like the third time I rode my bike, I started realizing this bike ride would, like, if I included that person, it would have been horrible. Like we probably would have been fighting. It probably would have been like the worst time ever. But because I'm so bonded by this person, because it's been so many years, I think I need that person to feel happiness. I think I need that person to do experiences with. I feel guilty having experiences without them, which is stupid. And it's just something that you have to heal from, and learning that you can have good moments by yourself, all by yourself, without a picture, without a video, without any of that. Just literally living in the moment of yourself and finding yourself. And in those moments of being by myself, I truly have found that I genuinely did not know how to be by myself. I don't think I've ever been by myself or been single for this long. And I don't want to get used to it, but I also want to be like experience it. And now moving forward in the last 3 months, I know exactly what I want moving forward. I may not want it right now because I don't feel like I'm there yet, but I do know what I want. And this is another part of the healing phase, because now you're over the relationship part. You're over the, okay, single family home now, over that. You're over the being alone. Now you're feeling comfort in your own self. And then now you're like, okay, what is my next move? Right? Like, what do I want? What do I aspire to have in my next partner? What are the qualities I want and don't want? What are the red flags? What are the green flags? Like, these are things that you should talk about with yourself. And I think we don't, because I don't know if about you, but growing up in like a Spanish household, you meet somebody, you're attracted to them, and then that's it. Like, you're together. Yeah, don't spend one waking day without each other. And it's actually not healthy at all, because then most of the time it doesn't ever work out. Right. But actually like manifesting and saying like, oh, this is what I would want in my next person. This is what I would like to see in the next person, and so on and so on. And then asking yourself, am I the person? Am I that person? Am I in the space that I can attract that person? right? Like, am I the person for the person that I just manifested? Like that, let's say that man that's has this going on and this going on. Am I the woman that's going to attract that person right now in my life? And for me, my list, no, I'm not. I'm not where I want to be for my next person. So that's why my focus is literally, and especially in this season, I do feel like my focus season right now is my kids. And then also growing. I feel like, just to give an overall saying, is the healing journey after a breakup is different for everybody. There is phases, there is different things that you go through. You go back, you go forward, you go back, you go forward. You're crying one week, you're not crying the next week, you're happy as hell one day, then you're driving home at night and you're crying for no reason. Like, it's literally the journey. But knowing that it does get better, knowing that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And if you're just going through it right now and it feels dark and you feel alone, it's not forever. And I have never went through a breakup and not gotten better. And I have never gone through a hard time and not came out of it stronger. So keep that in mind when you're going through it. Like, everything is happening for a reason. There's so much better to come from this, and it's growing you into the person you need to be. So thank you guys. Love y'all. Peace out.